back again here with the Corner Podcast with the guest corner today. We have ourselves
special guest. We'll introduce you if you want.
J-Town
Shares.
legend.
Do you want us to introduce you or you introducing yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Sharice, the founder of Trimingham.
CEO of business.
J-Town.
Oh,
You're trying to claim everyone on your side.
J-Town.
Last time we tried to claim man at Zim, now you're trying to claim man at
J-Town.
It's definitely
what
a
they're about,
J-Town.
innit?
Funny, man.
J-Town.
This is quiet, is it?
What?
Is this one a bit quiet?
Your mic?
Yeah.
What's your mic?
I can hear you.
You hear me good,
definitely,
yeah?
bro.
Yeah. It might be headphones, what's it?
Must
There
be
you go.
headphones.
Try again.
Ah, now we're
Yeah,
talking.
there you
Now
go,
we're
there you go.
talking.
Yeah, cool,
Ah, yeah,
cool.
calm.
But yeah, man. Sharice,
Special guest in the building.
Shez, Trimingham.
Trimingham to the world.
Trimingham,
Back.
okay. Trimingham.
Yeah, Trimingham.
Okay, cool.
How do you say?
I say Trimingham, innit? But I
yeah,
speak
but
fast.
some people say Trimingham.
Okay, cool.
It's the African in a minute.
No, some people say Trimingham. Trimingham.
Okay, cool.
It's all the same.
So obviously, we're going to get a bit of insight on how you started Trimingham.
Say it how you feel comfortable.
All right, cool. Your journey.
Okay.
I don't know where you want to start from. Maybe start from
I'll start
what
from the
inspired
very
you to get into
beginning.
clothing, for example. Start from there.
Okay, so starting the brand. So I've always wanted to be a fashion designer from J-Town days.
Yeah.
J-Town.
So, when I used to go to primary school,
Yeah.
I've always been into the whole being a fashion designer thing.
Okay.
And like when I went to secondary school, I wasn't really like, you see with like GCSEs and that, you're not really allowed to do all the things you want to do.
Of course.
So I wanted to do like textiles.
Okay.
But my school was like, no, you're not allowed to do textiles, whatever. So I just done photography.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the time, a lot of people knew me as the camera girl. Do you remember Tash?
Yeah, she had the camera all the time. You know.
I swear.
Always taking pictures when I was younger, always taking pictures. But then from there, like for A levels, I was allowed to do like textiles and photography.
Mm-hmm.
So like, which is kind of good, and it runs in my favor because it means that I can do a lot of the shoots myself if I need to.
Of course.
So then I started doing A levels, then doing textiles.
Sorry. What's textiles? I'm not really.
Oh,
I don't know in it.
Bro,
I don't know.
remember
You have to
textiles. We done it in
explain
school.
for
I can't remember what it is
You
in it.
never
Like,
made that cushion?
nah, I haven't actually.
Oh, so
I
it's
don't think
like
I have.
sewing and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
sewing.
Fam, I swear
Got
we
you,
used to
got
have
you, got you.
textiles at JMA.
We probably did,
Nah.
but I
Nah,
didn't
I
do
don't
it.
remember doing textiles.
I remember doing
We
textiles.
had wood
You
tech.
just say it in it.
Wow.
Nah, gas it. That's your set.
Nah, we had wood tech and all them ones, but I don't think we had textiles.
Nah,
I
I remember
fell into the
textiles.
same thing.
I don't
innit?
remember
Like
that.
you had wood
Okay.
tech,
Yeah, I don't remember
graphics,
it.
textiles.
We probably
Do you
did.
remember graphics? There was that graphics room at the back of JMA where you used to make these, like, I can't remember what.
The
Oh yeah,
little-
you're
the
right.
plastic
Graphics,
things, yeah.
graphics. I'm
The
with you
3D
now.
printing.
3D
things. Oh yeah.
So that it was
Okay,
all
cool,
part of
cool.
that, innit?
Okay.
Yeah, so textiles is basically just like sewing. It's more so fabric. Like if you go into a textiles career, it's like fabric. Like this is a textile.
Okay,
sort of thing.
cool.
Yeah, so I was doing textiles. Then from A levels, I moved to London and started studying at a university called Central St Martin's,
Okay.
which is like the bee's knees of fashion. Like,
How is it?
so some say, innit? Like it is supposed to be like number one in the world for fashion.
In the world?
Yeah, they really, the name holds a lot of weight,
swear.
but for me personally, like that uni wasn't really for me. Like I done a foundation year,
Yeah.
which is good for me because it's kind of like a try before you buy.
Of course.
Before I done the entire degree there.
Yeah. Double
So
check.
yeah, exactly. So I done that year there, and then from there I moved universities. This is the same school, but it's a different
Area of it.
area of
Okay,
it. Yeah.
cool,
So
cool.
I decided to study fashion and sportswear,
Okay.
which obviously hence why I do luxury sportswear now. Really dope. So that's how I got into fashion, basically.
Okay
That's
then.
mad. That's
So
mad.
when did you-
a natural journey.
But what? Go on.
I was going to say, when did you make your first, like, piece of clothing?
Yeah, when did you establish Triminghams?
Okay, so how I made my first piece. So basically, I used to make clothes for myself.
Okay.
So I would say my first piece I can remember. I remember it was like they call them circle skirts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually a very easy skirt to make when you think about it, because it's like you fold the fabric in half, then half again, and then cut a circle. And
Yeah.
then boom, Bob's your uncle.
Done.
But yeah, so I made that. But I remember like where I had such a quirky kind of cool fabric, it looked proper lit, and I was like, oh, I'm proud of this, isn't it? But then I never used to like do too much of it. So then I started making clothes for myself, and at that point I was making like skirts and body cons and that.
Okay.
And everyone's like, oh, I really like this. Can you make something for me?
Okay.
So that's how I kind of got into it. And then from there, like I started doing velvet pieces. Even Tash was one of my first customers.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
So
Was that
that-
like a red one in it? Or
Nah, it was
or
a black one. She
black-
made
oh,
one.
yeah,
She made
yeah.
one for me and K-Boy, innit?
Okay.
Yeah.
Before, I think it was when we was in uni, but I think
Yeah.
K-Boy went to pick it up in Reading.
Yeah, he went to pick it up, and like the feeling, like like obviously one of my main brand values, is to enable my customers to feel empowered, when they wear my clothes.
Yeah.
And I will always remember when Ash come to my house to try on the piece, because these are the days I was sewing in my kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Like I didn't have a studio, I didn't have anything. I was literally just sewing the clothes in my kitchen.
Yeah.
But when he put it on, he was so gassed.
Yeah.
He was so happy. Like even my mum was like, "Wow, he really likes the jumper, innit?"
That's
Like
a good feeling for you,
he
innit?
was really happy, and seeing that feeling that clothes can do for someone,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of like inspiring, and it kind of makes you want to make more and more.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
cool.
I've still got the thing, you know.
Jeez, I hope you
the-
got
the
it. You better
jumper,
keep
innit?
that.
That's 5 years old, you know.
It still fit
Definitely
you?
keep that.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
What are you trying to say?
No,
No,
bro?
bro.
no. Obviously,
Sorry.
what?
What you trying to say, bro?
You got bigger in it, surely.
Nah,
Gym,
but
innit?
he's
Gym,
been
gym,
saying,
Gym, bruv, yeah.
and it still fits you.
5
You've
years
been
ago,
gymming
that's
it.
what.
5 years in gymming it still fits you.
Nah, but it was like
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, bro?
it was kind of like
Mocking
stretchy
it.
fabric.
No,
innit?
yeah. So it's
Okay.
it's,
Oh,
it's
okay.
a
There you
velour
go.
fabric, so it kind of stretches to your body shape
Exactly.
anyway.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. See,
Wow.
I don't know about these fabrics like that. I'm trying to get insight, man.
Nah, but it was decent still. It was like the velour, and then I think the year
Yeah.
after that, you made the it was like the shorts and the
Yeah,
and the velour like top for the summer.
yeah,
innit?
the short
yeah.
set. So like I was.
That's what I remember, actually. That's what I remember you
Yeah.
having.
Nah, K-Boy had that one.
Oh.
K-Boy had
Yeah.
he had two
He
different
had-
colours.
he
innit?
had a couple
He
Oh,
had
colours.
K-Boy had it. Oh,
yeah.
was it green or something? One
Nah,
of them
it was.
green
I think
or
it was
red?
like a
Maxwell
burgundy
was wearing a
one.
green one.
Oh, Maxwell had a green one. I knew someone had a green one
was,
somewhere.
Maxwell was modelling. That was like one of the first Trimingham shoots.
Mm.
So yeah, Maxwell was modelling like on that one. But like I must say, like I gotta put it out there, Jazzy, of course,
Yeah.
was one of the first models for
Supporting.
Trimingham.
Yeah, no, you mentioned that on Snapchat.
Yeah. Before
I think he was
started
getting at
showing
Jazzy.
me
He said,
out.
Jazzy wasn't. No, he was getting at Maxwell saying, he was in the first one. I was the first one.
Like
Yeah.
there was a little debate there, but yeah, Jazzy, like obviously because let me explain. Like obviously when I started the velour thing, that wasn't like Trimingham. It was called Threads by Shez. So like I used to
Oh.
make all the stuff myself. And like make the velvet tracksuits and make all the velvet stuff. Yeah, that's the picture
Oh, there you
there.
go.
Let me see.
So technically,
Yeah, so
Maxwell was the first one in Trimingham.
we're not gonna go. I'm not saying
Technically.
that,
Alright.
but Jazzy was one of the first, or
With your clothing,
the
yeah,
first
yeah, yeah.
to model all the velvet stuff.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool,
so
cool,
he
cool,
was
cool.
he's 30, man.
Makes
But
sense.
both of them are lit.
Yeah,
both of them are good people.
I see them, man. They're showing support, help you out.
Yeah,
with them ones
exactly.
there.
So,
So
yeah.
when you say the actual established date was like
Okay.
what year? Okay, what year would you say Trimingham established?
Okay. So basically, so I was doing the short sets with the velvet, like, and like I can't lie, like it was quite overwhelming, innit? Like it was quite. I had a lot of orders, so I'm happy for that. I'm very grateful, but it was quite stressful. One person sewing in my kitchen or my living room.
So yeah, let me get this clear quickly. You was like sewing all these like from scratch.
from scratch,
the whole thing, like,
everything.
is it?
Getting the fabric, making the pattern, because like obviously it's a whole process. Everyone sees a
finished
clothing
product, of
item as
course.
the finished item,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
a lot of people don't understand how much time goes into it.
Yeah.
How long roughly did that that specific velvet piece take you?
That set, I can't even remember.
Yeah.
If
I
I'm
saw you
honest.
made two.
That
for
was
a
like
minute.
20.
There was a grey one as well.
That was like
So, yeah.
2016. That's like 4
Yeah.
years ago. But they take a long time in it because it's like the entire process. So like so I was doing quite a lot of them, and I was like, you know what? I low key had like a mini, not a breakdown, but it was like because like my needles were breaking. I
Yeah,
remember how
yeah.
it was,
The
and
stress,
I was like,
innit?
and I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? This ain't fun, and I want anything I'm doing. I want to make sure I'm enjoying it.
Perfectionist,
Otherwise,
innit?
otherwise I'm not really on it. So at that moment in time, like I was obviously at uni because this was all
Yeah.
my first year of uni.
Of course.
So yeah. So there were a couple other people in my class that also had brands.
Yeah.
Like I feel like my year at uni in the sportswear class, it was like a class of entrepreneurs, and it's nice because like it was a real like comfy situation. There was a lot of like black people in the class as well,
okay.
so we used to have jokes, play tunes, catch a vibe in class and that. But yeah, but they still had a very entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah.
So I remember like one of the guys from my class really sat me down. He's like, look, you could take this seriously far. And like obviously I believed it already. Like I know what I wanna achieve.
Yeah.
But he's like, I think you should rebrand. Like I think you should rebrand and just make it more of an official brand.
Yeah.
Because at that time obviously it's just Threads by Shez, just making velvet pieces and that, which looks good. But he was like, really rebrand. So like that's when I was like, you know what?
It's time.
Cool, it's time. I had like how did I get that? No, I think my dad rang me one time and was like, he was listening to like one of the business channels on the radio, and he's like, they're talking about fashion, and this is how it will happen. Yeah, it was very like, it was very impulse, like they was talking about it, and then I just called in, innit?
What was it?
Yeah, I
Slow
just
down.
called in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they had this guy called Richard Hurtley, salute him as well, because he was my first ever mentor.
Okay.
And he had like his own brand when he was young, going into John Lewis. He was doing good numbers with it. So they was like, if anyone's got any questions, la la la. So I remember like I just rang them and I was like, hi, my name's Sharice. I'm a 19-year-old fashion designer studying at school at uni, and I just want a bit of advice really. And they was like, wow, what you've got going is serious. Like obviously I thought it was cool, but like they was really emphasizing it. They was like, you should go to like your local newspaper, like tell them your story,
Get
la
out
la
there
la
a bit,
la.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. So then like I was turning like, this was probably like this was like end of March. So obviously I was turning 20 like in a couple weeks time.
Yeah.
And then literally went to the newspaper and it was like, okay, that sounds cool, whatever. And then they just published an article about me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get to read it or anything, but
Just
it
put it out
sounded
there.
so sick.
Oh, really?
The way they done it, there was like Reading teenager trying to empower her business through fashion, her generation through fashion.
Yeah.
And I was like, they literally said everything I wanted it to say.
Say,
but
yeah. You didn't actually tell them that.
that's what I mean, but that's the good thing about a journalist, isn't it? Like,
they'll
I'm
take-
more on
they'll
the
take
creative side, so I can create something, but the whole journalism, like,
They'll sort it
they
out.
can just
Bring it to life for somebody
depict
else.
it all. Yeah, so it was really, really cool.
Which
Okay.
newspaper was that?
Get Reading.
Oh, swear.
And then, so it was in Get Reading, and then it was in another one in London. So I think they obviously read it, and then they decided to put a little article in
Oh, okay.
their one as well. I think it's called the Good News newspaper.
All right.
So yeah, man.
So what year was that when, like you said,
2016.
2016 it was, yeah?
Yeah, so that's like when I was saying like I fully
Got
let
established
me
as-
rebrand. So that's when I had my logo. Like for me, one of the hardest things is because they always say like the hardest thing is starting,
The logo.
and it
Oh,
genuinely
yeah,
is.
massively, of course.
The hardest thing is starting because like once you start,
You're going.
you're going exactly. So you just take it one step at a time, but it's the starting. So obviously I didn't have a logo, and I was like, oh, I really want a logo. What am I gonna use? What am I gonna use?
Yeah.
So I'm doing all these designs, and like they're not really fitting with me. Do you know what I mean? And then I was like, you know what? I just done my signature, and I was like, this makes perfect sense. Because obviously a lot of
that's-
people don't know,
that's-
but Trimingham is my last name.
Oh, I was about to ask you that. Like,
That's
Yeah.
I was just thinking that. How did you come up with the name? And,
Yeah, because everyone's like, why Trimingham? What does that even mean?
so
Yeah.
that's your signature.
Yeah, it's
If
my
you're from
signature.
J-Town,
Like, it's
you'd know
not my
that, innit?
like. If you're trying to do it,
If you're from
Yeah,
J-Town,
I
you'd
thought
know
that
that.
was
innit? You man
clean,
would know that.
I
innit?
didn't know,
Where
I
you
didn't
man
know.
are from, innit?
I didn't know it.
You know what I mean?
If I'm trying to forge a bank
yeah,
check,
if
I
you're
could-
trying to do a check,
Oh,
people,
no,
I
that's
think,
not
nah,
like
it's not that.
Yeah.
it's not
Okay,
that, not that
okay.
thing,
That's
but-
cool. That's cool.
But like, it's like my basic signature.
Mm,
Not basic, but yeah, like my signature.
Yeah, I hear that.
Trimingham.
That's quite a cool journey to you. That's from.
Well, there's
From-
this,
Quite fun.
this
from
piece
doing-
you made for my brother though. This one was hard, you know.
Oh, which one? I've done a
Is
Is
couple
that
of
the
times.
boxing one?
Yeah.
Like the tracksuit, innit? I saw you made his boxing
yeah,
outfit,
I've got his
innit?
boxing
Yeah.
gear as well.
Like this is just the
Yeah.
tracksuit, innit?
Yeah.
It come out really nice. He
It's
loved
another
that as well.
velvet thing as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you still doing velvets? Would you
Yeah,
say?
like because
That looks like-
where
what's
I do
his name?
bespoke pieces. Yeah.
Oh, that's proper. That is. You know, that's something like Floyd would wear. You know,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
wore one in his last fight, a velvet thing. That's proper. I like that.
Thank you.
That's proper.
But this one is just a tracksuit. It's not even a boxing outfit. I think there's
Yeah.
actually like the boxing outfit.
Yeah.
I've done a boxing piece. Like I'm sure you'll see it as next fight.
So how far
Looks
would you say
really
that the brand has been? Because I see pop. I can't. I always say his name wrong. innit?
Popcaan.
Popcorn. I say
Popcorn.
popcorn.
Yeah,
Popcorn. Fuck them,
Massive
I'm bad with
popcorn.
it. I'm bad with it.
How
But
did
I
that
see
all
him-
come about? Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry.
Okay.
Well, go on.
Yeah,
go on.
yeah. So with the whole popcorn situation, my stylist actually patterned it for me. So I put on a fashion show last year, and that fashion show was basically kind of like what I would say to kind of like give back and kind of like help up and coming designers.
Yeah.
So we had like, because obviously you guys know already, but I've had the like privilege to do like New York Fashion Week, London Fashion Week. and
Yeah,
that.
Paris Fashion Week, yeah. We'll come back to that. Definitely.
Yeah. But so obviously I was like, it's so cool, but obviously not everyone gets the opportunity
To do that.
as a young
Yeah.
brand to do that. So I thought, you know what? Why don't we rent out a space? So me
Yeah.
and two of my friends, we one's an artist and one's an events organizer.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of like got together and put on like an event.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so everyone brought their own people, and I met a stylist there.
Yeah.
And like she was like really cool, but obviously we didn't really get to speak that much at the event.
Yeah.
But I remember like obviously she was asking me like what are the names of the other designers,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously some designers are a bit like not bitter, but they would just be like, oh well, I don't know, I'm not like, but obviously I went out of my way to kind of like help her.
Yeah.
And I was like, these are the designers, they're all really cool, whatever.
Yeah.
So like, and she like, I remember her messaging me after, she was like, oh, thank you so much. Like you didn't have to do that. So I really appreciate it. So like we kind of kept in good contact from there.
Doing it till to the day, yeah?
Yeah, we're good people. They're really cool. Yeah, so then there was one day she just rang me and she actually asked me to tailor something. But obviously like we just kept talking, and this was after I just brought out the spacesuit.
Oh yeah.
The puffer reflective spacesuit. And then she was just on the page and she's like, because obviously I've got a Popcaan's manager has asked me to basically get something for him to wear for his headline festival. But the festival is, what are we? So it was probably Wednesday night, like we was on the phone at about 11 p.m.
Okay.
So she's like, but the festival, he's going to Jamaica on Friday morning. So you need this to him by tomorrow.
That's a big deal, isn't it? So obviously,
yeah. She told you this at 11 p.m. at night, and you needed to. Okay.
Yeah. So she's like, he kind of needs this tomorrow, and obviously I was in London at that point, but the thing was in Reading, and he's in London, so it's kind of like, okay, Shez, make some magic happen. So obviously I had to go Reading, get it, fix it up, make sure it was all perfect. And then obviously after that, she's like, all right, I'm gonna give Popcaan's manager your number. And then I was like, okay, cool. But obviously at the same time, you're still a bit like skeptical.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah, cool. So then obviously I'm on the train coming back to London now. I just get WhatsApp saying, hi Sharice, this is Popcaan's manager. Can you come and meet me now? And I was like, man, do you know what I mean? Because like you're still thinking like
is it true? Or,
but obviously when I met him and now he's a proper really nice guy. Like
you met him?
Yeah, Popcaan's manager. Obviously Popcaan was in Jamaica at the time, but I met his manager, and his manager was like really cool, like really good energy, you know, people are just good vibes. Yes. Yeah, proper good vibes. And then so obviously the thing about it, like when you're styling someone, obviously where they haven't tried it on, this happens with a lot of shoots, like of course you don't know necessarily if they're actually going to wear it until they're wearing it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And obviously where it was a very last minute thing, I was thinking anything could happen. And for me, I don't like to big anything up too much.
Because you don't know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, so I don't really anticipate many things. Like I'm very grounded with these things. Grounded, okay. So I was just like, okay, cool. If he wears it, cool. If he don't, then it is what you move. Yeah. I hear you. So obviously, like, I remember the day of the festival though. So like, so he went out there, and I remember, like the day of the festival, like it came, and I was like, I wonder if he's gonna wear it. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, I couldn't really sleep. I was thinking, is he actually gonna wear it, or if he don't, like, I'm not gonna be upset or vexed or whatever. But if he does wear it, cool. And then obviously, when I done it, like obviously, I put in a Trimingham t-shirt as well to go along with it. So then I was like, okay, cool. So it got to like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was watching his story, and I was like, is he wearing my t-shirt? And I was like, nah, he can't be. And then I looked at it again, and I was like, wow, he's actually wearing a t-shirt. So I was like, oh, that means the package arrived to him. He got it. And then obviously, like, it got to like, obviously because Jamaica's behind in time, it got to like the morning, and like I watched the festival Insta Live, and like obviously I could see like him flying through the sky. But I was like, he's wearing like a silver thing, but I'm like, you can't tell what it is. You know what I mean? So like I'm there with my mum, and I'm like, is he wearing it? She's like, I don't know, you know, I can't really see. I don't know if he's wearing it. And then he got closer, and I was like, oh my gosh, are you crazy? Like, he's actually wearing it. So yeah, I was proper.
That must have been
was it a big push for your brand? Like, do you think it really pushed it even more? Or, I don't know how it works in terms of like if someone big wears your clothes, or
do you know what, it provides more opportunities, because I think like the thing about fashion, obviously, it's like people are taking the brand more serious now, sort of thing. So people will see things like, I think the main thing that kind of made my brand like was when I done New York Fashion Week. Okay. When I done that, people were like, oh, but you're serious about this brand then? Like it's actually going somewhere.
When you say people, do you mean like Like the normal me or just any?
Everyone.
Okay, everyone. Okay,
Everyone.
So you see, it's like when you do something for Popcaan like that, like, do they pay for the service or is it just a thing where you do it out of your own, like just for the exposure?
So that piece was a sample piece.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't like a bespoke piece.
Mm-hmm.
So you're able to, like, a lot of the time, if you're styling a client, there's like services where you can either gift the client the product, they can buy the product, or they can rent the product. So like it just depends on what agreement you have with them. Yeah. You have with them. Yeah.
That makes sense. Cool.
So for that piece,
I can't really go.
Why is he
I'm just trying to know if them man pay in it. I don't know innit. You never know, because most times you think them man just get the clothes for free innit. Like someone just trying to get their name out there. Just give them the clothes innit.
I guess it's not a bad idea in a sense, isn't it?
Exactly. It all depends. Like I said, there's the 3 different services. Depends on what it is they want. Like for example, if they've requested like a bespoke piece as well, obviously that's a lot of time. And getting fabrics and the process is quite long. So it all just depends really.
So I see a snap with you and Rick Ross one time.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Wow, yeah.
Oh wow.
What was that 101 in Birmingham?
101. That was in Milan, baby.
I thought it was in Birmingham. Brams. I thought it was in Birmingham, bro. I see Rick Ross in Birmingham, didn't I?
That didn't look local, bro.
He was definitely in Birmingham.
That wasn't local.
No.
Rick Ross was in Birmingham though before he was. I don't know, but he was in 101 in it.
A few men have been in 101.
He was in 101, trust me.
I remember.
But anyway, yeah, sorry.
Was that Milan Fashion Week? Is that even a thing?
No,
Milan Fashion Week.
I swear you went to live there for a bit.
Yeah.
Where's too many things going on? There's too many things going on right now.
Where we started.
So Rick Ross.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I may as well start about the Milan.
The whole Milan thing. Yeah.
So obviously part of my degree was you could take a year out to study abroad. So obviously you have to basically study and do work experience or intern. But I was like, more time. I just want to live in Italy. Do you know what I mean? But like
the home of fashion, Italy.
Yeah, one of Italy and Paris. Them two are definitely up there. Like
that's where most of the big brands come from.
Exactly, all the high fashion brands. And I think it was really good for me because obviously you learn like the beauty of quality and craftsmanship. Oh my gosh, I love Milan.
Speaking of fashion, this is where Trimingham is coming from.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like I love. My heart is in Italy. Like I love my hometown.
Yeah.
I love like New York, but Milan, that place,
different level.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
It's different because I think also, you know, like when you're doing something and you're not really anticipating what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
So obviously I moved there. I didn't know a single person.
Of course not.
Don't know anyone. Going to this new school. Like I can't lie, my mum, like when I come back, my mum was like, I was so nervous that you was going out there in this foreign country on your own.
Especially Italy's got a bit of a reputation as well.
Yeah, it's low-key got a reputation, but we're not going to go into that too tough. But she was like quite nervous, innit? But I didn't really think about it. So I was just like, you know what, I'm going. We'll see what it's like. But I never thought I'm not going to like it. Like I had a beautiful apartment out there. The uni, like from day one, was so nice, and I met some great people in this.
Do
you know what I mean? Like,
so what other brands? What big brands have come out of Milan? I'm a novice when it comes to this fashion thing.
So it's mainly like you would say Italy. So like, because obviously Gucci is Florence.
Oh, okay, now I'm with you.
Gucci.
Giuseppe.
Pardon?
Is Louis Vuitton?
No, Louis Vuitton's Paris.
Oh yeah.
You got Moncler.
Yeah.
Moncler's out there.
Okay.
They got the Fendi headquarters there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Giuseppe's from there, isn't it?
Fendi's Rome. So Fendi Roma. Giuseppe's Zanotti. See, that's Italy as well. So you got quite a lot.
Okay.
Big brands.
Quite a lot of good little brands. Well, good big brands.
Yeah, of course.
Good big brands from Italy. Yeah, they've got some real sturdy things out there, but that place, like, so yeah, I learned a lot about the craftsmanship. Like, learned to speak a bit of Italian.
Is it? Say a little something.
Parlo Italiano. That means I speak Italian.
Okay, cool.
But poco, a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend to sit here and be like, sono fluent in Italian. I'm not. I'm not fluent. But obviously, because of lockdown and that, I thought, you know what, I really should start learning a bit more.
Do you actually want to go back there? Like,
to live there?
Do you know what? I want to do like See me, I'm a bit of a jumper. Like I'll be there and I'll be like, I want to come back to England. But then I'll be in England and be like, I want to go back to Milan. So I think it would be good if I do like 6 months.
Yeah.
So half the year out there, half the year back here. Like that's the aim. But obviously, like whilst I'm building Trimingham, it makes a lot more sense for me to be in England right now.
Of course.
Because like I said, Milan is the home of fun as well. Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm going to Milan, like I would really need to go there and be mashing in work,
knuckle
like
down.
proper serious work. But where it's kind of like the girls are gonna be like, "Oh, we out tonight?" Because when I lived there, I'm not gonna lie, like we used to go out on like a Tuesday night after uni. We used to go out on a Friday night. Like I'd be like Sunday nights, a club called B Toto. So you're
What's the clubbing scene like over there?
Oh my gosh, you need to go.
Okay.
I can't explain.
Where's this Milan?
Milan, the rest.
I'm gonna search it later on.
Yeah, you can get cheap flights. You can get tickets for like £20 return. Yeah, man. Paying more to go to London.
That's cheap though.
I can't even lie. Any flight that's giving me a ticket for £20, I don't trust it.
I'm not too sure, bro.
Like obviously you can go with like EasyJet. You can go with EasyJet or Ryanair or British Airways.
Ryanair's £20. Ryanair's a £20 thing.
Yeah,
Then I mean you pay for the luggage. You pay for your shoes to come on. Seatbelt. You're gonna breathe on there. You gotta start paying money.
If you want a seatbelt.
Trust me, you gotta pay for everything right now.
Trust me.
Okay.
But no, like in hindsight, like if you want to get to A and B, like I can't really complain because obviously as a student, whilst I was a student out there, I was flying back home over there.
Oh, easy.
For cheap
like
prices, so big up Ryanair on that one.
So obviously, I'm guessing during your time in Milan, this when Rick Ross came.
Oh wow, you're really itching to hear this Rick Ross.
No, yeah, because
I don't know if got that connect in it. I need to chat to him.
That was a chat to his boy Meek.
You already know, innit?
That's Uncle Ricky now, man. No, I'm joking.
His number, yeah.
So, nah. But to be fair, like obviously after I see him, like he saluted me on, like he was liking up the Insta pictures and all of that.
Did he follow you?
So let me tell you how it happened.
Go on.
So one of my friends, obviously, like I said, we used to be partying all the time. So one of them is a PR for one of the highest, most elite clubs in Milan called Just Cavalli. Have you heard of the brand Roberto Cavalli?
Yeah, I've heard Cavalli.
Yeah, I've heard the clothing brand, innit?
Yeah, Roberto Cavalli.
We've always shoot now in his tracks. Cavalli,
gigs, innit? It was
mover.
I've heard gigs mentioned at bare times as well.
That Roberto Cavalli brother's got a club out there.
Yeah, so Roberto Cavalli has a club out there called Just Cavalli. Like he's got them all over the world, but Milan is where it's at. Like when it comes to fashion week and that, the parties in there really go off.
Just Cavalli, and that like another part of his brand as well. Like
yeah,
clothing called Just Cavalli as well.
Yeah,
I thought so. Yeah.
So the club's called Cavalli, and like so obviously there was a night there, and I was like to my girls, I was like, oh, Rick Ross is going, and they was like. Who? Obviously you got to realize that obviously my friends in Milan aren't really like my friends from England because it's like everyone's growing up, and that's what I love so much about Milan as well, because everyone there is on their own. Like it's like
that's what there.
Yeah, so they got outdoor seating. So it's like in the summer you're outside. So like they have the club outside, they have the shisha, and like when we're there we have tables, bottles, everything. Like it's like, yeah, man. Because when you got good PR in Italy, in Milan,
it's a big
anyway,
thing.
Yeah,
it's a big thing.
Like and salute to my PR out there as well, because clubs, bottles, everything, pattern. You're nice, like you're very, very nice. Yeah. So Cavalli. Yeah, so Rick Ross. So obviously I was like, oh yeah, do you guys want to go see Rick Ross? So it's like, what, night out? Yeah, let's go. Do you know what I mean? They're not really like fussed about Rick Ross, but to be out, and obviously he's a celebrity, so they're like, yeah, we're still up for going.
Yeah.
So we all went there, and I was like to them, I remember I was like, I want to take one of my tops with me to give to him. Yeah. And they was like, what? No, don't be silly. How are you going to give him that?
Yeah.
Don't give Shez a challenge, by the way, because
you're going to get it done.
Okay. Don't give Shez a challenge. Come on. So they was like, nah, I don't know about that. They was basically low-key laughing, and I was like, nah. Okay. So obviously I took it anyway, and like I remember having it with me, put my coat in a cloakroom, and I was like, I'll hold on to this one quick. I'll hold on to the top, innit? So obviously I had it packaged up and that. So then obviously like when Rick Ross comes, obviously everyone crowds round and everyone's like jumpy, whatever. Yeah. And then I just remember like obviously we was sipping anyway, so it was a little bit weighed. And then obviously he's like, free meat meal, and everyone that knows me knows how much I love meat as well. So like it was real cool. And then I remember I was just like, we need to get to the front, you lot.
Yeah.
So I remember just licking back my drink, and I was like, right, let's do this then. We just swerved through the crowds. And then I remember, like, obviously you got to remember as well, with Italy, there's not really that many black people there.
Yeah.
So these people, they like the fact that Rick Ross is there, but they don't know his music.
Yeah.
Okay.
I come from J-Town, innit, Tash? So, and so obviously we grew up on Meek and Rick Ross. So it's kind of like we know we've been listening to their music. So obviously he's rapping his tunes and I'm rapping them too.
As well, yeah.
So obviously after like his security guard, I just gave the top to the security guard. I said, "Can you give it to him, please?" And he was like, he asked the girl that he was with, because obviously you come with an entourage, innit?
Yeah.
So the girl took the top and she's like, "Yeah, thanks." I said, "Can you hold it up for me, please?" So this is the level of shoot or shot you gotta be at. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise I could have been all nervous and be like, "Oh, here," or take it back home with me. You see what I'm saying? But how often am I gonna link up with Ricky Rose?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. I was like, okay, can you hold up for me? She's like, yeah, sure. So she held it up and I was like, please let my battery not die right now. Could you imagine that?
I'll do it. Yeah,
this is what I'm saying. So like she held it up, and then I was doing the video of him and the thing, and then obviously he see me videos and he held the bottle up as well, and he's like, yeah. So that's how the vibe kind of got started. So after that I was like, yeah, this is lit. So then obviously he's still rapping away to the music. Then he's giving me shots as well. He's like, take a shot, innit? So we was cheersing, and oh my gosh, when he cheers me, it felt like in my head that, because obviously he had like this big glass, I had the shot glass, whatever, but it felt like the glass got knocked back like 3 times. I was like, have I seriously just cheersed with Rick Ross?
From that moment onwards, me and Rick Ross are boys. I'm telling everyone in the ends, like, this is my guy.
That's a mad lesson you got that you learned there, you know. You see from the part, you said you're at the apartment, you said you're going to take the top and everyone was laughing at you. So how many people have been in their situations and the people around them, little things like that would have talked them out of it.
This is it.
Yeah. I've been in it myself.
Yeah, it happens.
That's mad.
It happens, like, and that's why sometimes you really just got to stick to your guns and do what you want to do, because it's not even on a bad mind thing, but obviously when people haven't seen things, they don't really believe it. Do you know what I mean? Like that leads on to like the New York Fashion Week story as well. We'll get to that later. But it's kind of like you've got to do what you want to do. I didn't know I was gonna end up giving it to him. I didn't know he was gonna cheers me. But unless I put myself in that situation, it's not gonna happen.
But even with that, like, what's the worst that can happen? Him saying no.
Exactly. That's it.
That's about it.
That's all.
But not a lot of people don't think about the worst, innit?
Yeah.
The worst to them is like their worst.
It's kind of pride. It's pride.
Yeah, pride. That's it. Yeah.
It's kind of like if he says no, but at the same time,
it's the fear of failure. But if you look at it, like,
that's what I'm saying.
I feel like the fear is like something you put on. It's not really like it's not real.
It's not as bad as you.
It's in your head. It's in your head. It's a mindset. It's
basically you miss. Like someone said before, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly. And that's it.
Because even like the worst is just a no. Like he'll say no, and you just move on, innit?
Exactly. Just crack on, man. So obviously, like I was on cloud 9. Like
imagine.
I remember like just going home like. And then obviously the next day, like, but I'm one of them people, like, I'm very, like...
in the moment.
Yeah, I'm in the moment, but I kind of, like, strategize things as well. Like, I don't get too gassed and just, like, fling it up.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you got to kind of put a business perspective because, obviously, like, it's one of them ones, like, where I'm not really a big fan of the whole groupie thing. Like, obviously, all, like, the entourage and that was like, oh, yeah, after party at ours. I'm like, I've low-key, like, I've come for business, innit? I come to do the Trimingham thing. I don't really need to go to after party. So
who's entourage? Sorry,
Rick Ross.
But Tree say that. Let me say quick.
Do you
know why? Do you know why I say that? The reason I say that is because surely you're going to after party with Ross now, innit? He's gonna be there, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was them lot's after party, innit?
So now,
but go on.
In another side of things, wouldn't you think that I can go to there, you might be able to talk to him or whatever, and then kind of
but at the same time, that's not really the kind of scene I'm trying to put myself in, because it's kind of like we've now got a good vibe here. We've done shots. You've done the love for Trimingham.
I hear you.
I'll take my exit.
You don't want to feel like you're asking for too much.
Do you see what I'm saying? And it's not even like that. It's kind of like obviously you see, like each their own, innit? But obviously, as a female, a lot of these celebrities seem to think, like not him, I'm not saying him, but like in general, like celebrities think, girls after party, whatever. I'm not trying to put myself in that situation. So I thought, you know what, I've got what I kind of wanted. You've shown love. I rate it highly because as a celebrity on that level, he was really humble, down to earth and humble. And obviously, you don't know what these people are like, huh?
Yeah, he's on one of the highest levels as well.
This is what I'm saying. Like,
global.
Exactly. He's international. So like, I was like, yeah, I'm gassed here. I'm nice. So obviously the next day, like I was saying about, you gotta kind of put the business first. Yeah. So I was like, okay, let me think about how I want to do the post, whatever. I didn't just sling it up on that night where I'm still waves. Anyway, my battery died like 5 minutes after. And I was like, I was at home. I was on my way home thinking, oh my gosh, what if it didn't save? Like, what if something happens? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I hear you. Because obviously that was like the first artist that showed love to my brand. So it was kind of like, rah. So then I posted it and people were like, are you seriously with Rick Ross? Like, cheers with Rick Ross. And I was like, yeah, I think so. But yeah, that was definitely a sick situation. And then I think from there, that's how the ball got rolling, because at the same club, Playboy Carti was coming a couple months later. So I'm thinking, I really moved to Italy in the right time, innit? Because obviously these Italians like love rappers and that, but like I said, where English isn't their first language, they don't really understand what the song's saying.
They just like the vibe, innit?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I mean. They're lit because their energy's proper cool when it comes to the party.
Right life,
yeah. But so then I met Playboy Carti, but I didn't take a top that time. I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna force it, or whatever. And so I didn't really bring that much stock with me to Italy when I had Trimingham anyway.
Okay.
But so I was like, but I had business cards this time.
Okay.
So I gave Carti one of the business cards, innit? And again, we was doing like we had a table next to his table anyway. So it's like we weren't like doing shots with him, but we had a table by there. So you could see the vibe anyway. So I gave him the card, and obviously he could see I was snapping anyway. So he was holding the card up and like, yeah. Okay. So I'm due to reach out to him, get him a custom piece.
Are you in contact still?
No, not in contact like that. But like a DM. This is how things happen these days. The power of social media. A lot, and like I could say this is like a bit like for me, like I should really be doing this more myself, because obviously the whole reaching out thing can take you places, innit?
Of course.
So like I should really be reaching out to more people, or to people in fact. But so that's how Playboy Carti was showing love as well.
Okay.
And then so with the Rick Ross thing, so obviously I posted it, tagged him obviously, and then he was on the page liking it and everything. And those were the days, remember when Insta had the following part, so you can see what everyone's activity is like.
Because we're talking to Coons about it. You reckon that the reason they got rid of that, and it's not been a good thing, because now you ain't seen Rick Ross has liked it, so now
exactly. But those days when he liked it, I had all his fans coming on there. Rick Ross fan page.
That's spooky then, isn't
it? So but we move, like everything happens with the times, innit? So it's like I'm not mad that they don't do that no more. If they had done that during Popcaan, the situation
you must see Champagne Papi in there or something.
Exactly. You see, but I remember like Sterling was commenting saying, I need one of these spacesuits myself.
La. Did you ever reach out nothing like that?
No. So to be fair, like I did send a DM, but it was kind of like, if you want one, just give us a shout, whatever. Didn't hear back from it, innit?
Should have shouted his girlfriend or something. Paige. No, big man thing, bro.
You gotta go.
Yeah. You gotta go through the back door and through the window. But but a lot of celebrities, because obviously Popcaan's up there, isn't it? So he's got people. So plus like obviously the spacesuit is like it's quite a unique piece, so it's not something you can wear every day.
Of course not. I was gonna say, where would you wear something like that?
Fashion Week. Or like for artists, you can wear it on stage on stuff, tour. You could wear it to like a PA and things like that. But like you could wear it to town. Each to their own, innit? Like
I ain't seen no one wear this.
Because that's a unique
cold winter place.
Like, I think even in the winter, like
you'd see international students wearing it.
Yeah, definitely. Like
100%.
The international students at my uni, wow,
I think in every uni,
they're inspiring as it is. Like they would come to uni every day with a new Louis bag. New kicks.
Them things ain't cheap either,
everything.
boy.
See what I'm saying?
Bro, you see at uni, you see Giuseppe's. You know when they're first coming out, they're the big thing. Them man used to play football in them. I'm talking about like just have a little kick around. I'm thinking, bro,
fun. Yeah, man.
£350, you know.
That's cheap, bro, even, bro.
Nah, even
that's even cheap, bro. So
that's
mad.
Yeah, what was the inspiration behind the spacesuit thing?
The spacesuit. Okay, let me tell you how that happened actually, and then we go on to fashion.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so with the spacesuit, that's when I was living in Milan. So obviously I studied out there, and the teachers are very strict. Let's call it strict. They're very like blunt and strict and sharp. So they'd be like, basically, by the end of the lesson, you guys need 50 designs done or something.
Oh, of course.
And obviously, I'm used to being in my little hood class in London, the sportswear class, where we will just play tunes and that. This is a different situation. This is cracking the whip. Like, this is kind of like, you see, like the whole world's strictest parents kind of thing.
Okay,
that's like that for fashion. Like, they really like crack the whip. Like, I remember even having like a little couple arguments with some of the teachers, like because of how like they're just
onto you.
Yeah, they really get onto you, and it's like, just chill. Like, just chill. But they're really nice at the end of the day.
So it's character building in a sense. Would you not say that's character building?
Yeah, it's definitely. And like I said, like, it taught me about quality. Yeah. Quality over quantity, always.
And I can imagine the fashion industry is quite like cutthroat.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. So
very, like, and this is the thing about Central St. Martin's as well. I remember like when I had my first interview there, my tutor, not my tutor, but like I remember when they were interviewing people, and one girl, they was like, "Your paper's dirty, get out." Sort of thing, do you know?
What do you mean paper? Like
her sketchbook. Like, really? The sketchbook had like.
They got rid of her just because of that?
They was like, you're not. Like, they didn't say like, maybe it wasn't so harsh. Like, when I was younger, in a sense. Yeah, I was like 18, 19, but in my head it sounded like, get out. Yeah. So I was thinking, but they're very strict, because obviously, like I said, remember that university there's number one
in the world,
and you got to remember, when I was there, Kanye was there, to the point I had a you know, you have like at uni, you have like sessions with your tutor.
Yeah.
And like, so I was having a session with my tutor, and I think my brother was just like, "Did you see Kanye? He's in the hallway." And I said to her, whatever, like, I'm not gonna say her name or whatever, but I was like, I've just heard Kanye's out there. Can I quickly go and see him? She said no. I was like, are you being serious? Like, he's out in the hallway. Can I not just quickly go say hello, come back? She's like, are you taking this serious? Do you know what I mean?
Do you reckon it's normal for her though? That's why she acted in that way.
Yeah, because obviously with, like I said, with fashion, it's a bit like the same Italy situation. They don't, where we come from, obviously when it's a celebrity, we kind of like, we're like,
It's not adapting, is it?
Exactly. But obviously when you're in those kind of situations, they're just like, we have more important things to be doing than you running off going to see a celebrity. However, like just after that, or maybe just before, I can't remember the time frame, but ASAP was at my uni, innit? So A$AP Rocky come to my uni, and he was just chilling outside, and a lot of my friends were like, "Oh, did you see ASAP?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "I'm getting vexed now. How am I missing all these celebrities?" So then one of my friends, we was in class one day, and one of my friends was like, "A$AP Rocky's outside. He's outside now." I said to one of my girls, "We're going now. Let's get up and go." So we left our stuff in the room. Well, my memory is usually bad, you know, but like when you're talking about it, it's all coming. It's all coming. So we left our stuff in the room, and we just went outside. And like at Central St. Martin's, like the slopes go down, so it's kind of like step down. So like he's on like this boat thing outside, and I'm looking at him, and he's like, he can see us coming in it, so he's smiling, and I'm like. Because I think that's probably the first interaction I had with a celebrity. Because obviously I didn't have
a proper one with Rick.
Yeah, I didn't have Trimingham then.
Oh, so okay.
This was before. This was before. Yeah, this is when I was doing my foundation. Yeah. So like he was just like welcoming, and I was like, oh damn, like it's actually you. Like hi. So we all got on the boat. We was chilling with have you heard of the brand Rick Owens as well? Who? Rick Owens. No. It's a luxury.
Oh, Rick Owens. Yeah, I heard of Rick Owens. Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, Rick Owens.
They make shoes, innit?
Yeah. They do quite a few. He's really good as well.
Was there too?
His wife was on the boat.
Okay.
So Rick Owens' wife and A$AP Rocky were chilling on the boat. And obviously these are the days, obviously Tashi might know, but back in the day I had a little bit of attitude going up in it. So I remember just saying to A$AP, I was like, why are you even here?
Yeah.
Oh, just like that.
Yeah, but not in a rude way. Like I wasn't.
It might seem like that.
Yeah, it might have come across rude how I said it.
On the campus, like, what you doing?
Yeah, but I was like, oh, why are you here? But obviously, I'm just shocked.
You're basically thinking like, why is he actually?
Yeah, I'm like, why are you here? Like, you're in England and you're at my uni. Like, what's going on? He's like, I'm just chilling. You know, he was just holding the vibe, innit? And then obviously, I was like, can we take a selfie? So no, I think first I asked this girl to take a photo of us, innit? But if you saw these pictures, it's to the point. This day, I still could not, like, the photos were.
Upload them.
They were awful.
But what do you mean awful? Like blurry or something?
Yeah, they were blurry. Like, weren't looking.
No concentration when she's taking a picture.
It's kind of like it was kind of like, what was you doing? Like with this photo? Do you know? I genuinely can't remember. I can't remember. And
I'm one of them people there. My camera skills are whack.
You're vague. I know you're that kind of guy as well.
Whack.
But it's like we weren't even looking. They like tap. But I think maybe because they was excited as well, so maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt in it. They was probably excited. It was like, here you go. But I look at the picture before I left. So I was like, nah. I said, can we take a selfie? He's like, sure. So then
you got another one?
So I done the selfie.
So you got a pop one, yeah?
Yeah. I done a selfie and that was cool. And then so obviously one of the guys from my class, he brought his whole portfolio. He was showing them their work. I was like, geez, this is the level of shoot or shot. And then obviously like one of them said to one of my friends there, do you guys want to come out on the boat for lunch with us and that? But obviously, we had left all of our bags and everything in the classroom.
Get the bags, bro.
Yeah, I come back for them. Lost property. Lost property.
Do you have your phone in your purse?
I didn't even have my purse.
You have your bank card or nothing?
No, nothing.
I just had my phone because we was just running out quick.
Apple Pay thing, bro.
This was like 2015. They were Apple Pay.
I don't care, bro. I'll find out what to do when I get there.
Remember what I was saying about my tutors being quite strict, innit? So it's like we have to go back, like otherwise they're gonna be like, you lot aren't serious. And remember, this is the bee's knees of fashion. This is where Alexander McQueen studied. Like,
is it?
Yeah, this is where Alexander McQueen, John Galliano, like a lot of big designers studied at this uni. So they've got a reputation to keep. If you're sodding off going on boats, we could have given your place to someone else.
Yeah,
I hear that.
So it's kind of like we got to be disciplined at the same time.
So what are these men actually doing there? Like A$AP Rocky, Kanye, are they there to study?
But then after when A$AP was there, he put Kanye, he put out a tweet saying, I can't call myself a fashion designer because because Central St. Martin's won't accept me.
They accept him?
No, they didn't accept him. They wouldn't allow him in. But look at him now. That's why. And it's kind of like Yeezy is doing so well.
So well. I told people this, like, it's doing so well. Like,
so he tried applying to go to a uni.
Yeah, he tried to. He wanted to go there. He wanted to go and study there, but they said no.
That's mad.
Because it's at the same time they're looking for talent. They're not
looking for a status.
Because it's like you can't. It doesn't matter how fat your check is or how elite you are. They obviously have a certain criteria.
Yeah. What is their criteria? Also, how do they judge you? Sort of
they kind of judge you on how wacky your stuff is.
Oh, yeah,
like
how different it is.
Yeah, they don't really want people that do the same thing. But it's kind of like but that's why when I was on the foundation year, that's how I learned how to, like, if you see some of my drawings, they're really expressive and really, like, you probably wouldn't understand it. And, like, to the normal eye, people kind of like, why do you draw like that? Do you know what I mean? But that's how we got trained at the university. And, like, obviously I sometimes do, like, illustration teaching on the side as well. So it's kind of like, that's how I teach my students to do it as well. But it's kind of like, that's what they look for. They look for very wild
stuff.
Cool. And Yeezy is a very clean, it's a really clean cut brand.
Is it?
Yeah, I think they do.
Well, obviously, you know better, but
they do. From my point of view, really stuff. But it's quite minimalistic if you think about it. Do you know what I mean? So it's quite like oversized silhouettes and things. As a designer, he's really levels because that's where the world's going.
Yeah, I feel like people actually buy that stuff and wear it.
Yeah, exactly.
Kanye always takes the piss.
It's everyday thing.
Seen that one top white tee was selling for bags? Just a white tee, bro.
Okay, cool. I got another question. We'll come back to that later in terms of how people price up their stuff in it because for example, people like Tashi, for example, in it. But we'll come back to that. Sorry, we'll come back to that.
But, I grew up in the hood, bro. Been in a recession.
Before I bring that up, I'll bring it
up. But yeah, Yeezy's really doing well. And this is the thing. Obviously, when I moved to London College of Fashion, they taught me about the business side. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I needed both of these unis to be in the position where I am now because the spacesuit, I wouldn't have learned that at London College of Fashion, that kind of stuff. And I'm going to come back to your question about the inspiration on that spacesuit. But it's kind of like they teach you how to be like outside the box and think of crazy things. If you go to that university, it's not a normal university. You will see people there looking
funky.
You know what I mean? Obviously, like how I used to dress. Obviously, I just used to wear trainers and jumpers and that. But some people used to go all out, heels, like wear heels, wear big oversized jackets, like bright pink, bright blue, like and that's kind of where you get. That's where you kind of get your inspiration from as well, though, because these people are so wild. But wacky, that's what I mean. Like
compared to what you're used to, it's
exactly.
Different,
like I loved it in that sense, but I just felt like studying there, this uni isn't really for me. And also, like, keeping it 100, like the tutors that were there, they were kind of like, we don't think this uni's for you. Do you know what I mean? There was like, it wasn't kind of saying you're not good enough to study here, but not in so many words. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was kind of like, this is my point to prove. So you don't want to be what we're doing. Yeah.
So you're not really trying to be somewhere you're not really celebrated.
Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying?
And thing ain't easy, is it?
It's like I said, it's cutthroat. It is a cutthroat industry, and it's like survival of the fittest, isn't it? And it's like
not a lot of people last long, to be honest. Like when they start the clothing, regardless, they don't really last too long.
But that's because when you're going into these things, you have to love it. See what I'm saying? Trimingham wouldn't be here where it is if I didn't love it. If I was just in it for coin. You can't, but that's with like every business you start.
Same way.
You've really got to enjoy it rather than just doing it for the sake of doing it for the coin. Yeah.
Because for the coin, when the coin's not coming in, it's not fun no more, innit?
This is it. Or even when you don't see the coin from the beginning, and that's why you're saying a lot of brands don't last because if they're like starting a brand, they're expecting to turn over millions in the first weekend.
Most times it's a loss in it the first year.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. I always say, like when you're doing having a company, you got to treat it like a baby. Like the first couple of years, you have to give that baby everything. See what I'm saying? That baby is not going to feed you. You have to look after it. You have to nurture it. And then when it gets a bit older, it might start growing legs. And that's when it can start doing a couple things. It might be able to treat you a little bit. But then when it's old enough to do its own thing, that's when you're eating. See what I'm saying?
That's a good way.
Yeah, you got a
different analogy.
That's a good analogy still.
Yeah, you got to see it.
There's like a lot of people are trying to jump into the fashion game without understanding, like all the stories you talked about uni, seeing all these people. Like that's a lot. Do you know what I mean? And I'm trying to picture myself trying to do it and process it all and that. And it's just
it's years. It's not something that you can just do overnight. Because I also say, like, to a lot of people that ask me advice and that, I always say a fence that is built fast falls down fast. You see what I'm saying? A fence that you have the correct tools and you put in place correctly, that's gonna honestly, like when you really think about the things that succeed, think about brands like Gucci, Louis Vuitton. You think these have been here for a year or two? These have been around for years. Sometimes I think even hundreds of years.
That will probably tie into your question about the money side of things.
Yeah. So some people say, "Oh, this is expensive. That's expensive." Like, for example, I've heard people say sometimes they might feel your clothes are expensive.
Yeah, all the time.
But I've been to a house in it. I've been to a studio, whatever, and I've seen your setup and how much time you put into it.
Yeah, 100%. This is it. And like also like with me, like for my age, I have a lot of experience. See what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you've been to that.
I've lived in Italy. I've done the whole fashion weeks. I know. And obviously I haven't mentioned it yet, but where I got my training, I interned at Tom Ford. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. So it's kind of like
you're credible. Like you've got. I'm
credible. CV's strong.
Keeping it 100. I am, and like. Obviously, my brand, it's high fashion, but it's not as high as like Tom Ford levels. Not yet.
Yeah. I've tried to explain to
get your stuff
well.
now because boy,
I did try to explain to people. I think someone before said something about jacket, and the price is quite high.
Yeah, we was having a conversation.
Really?
And I was like, I'll show you the jacket actually, because the jacket was wavy. I didn't say it in a mad way.
No, I'm not talking about you. I was talking about someone before.
Oh, swear.
Like an actual jacket, innit? Because the jacket was like $5 or something.
I see this jacket.
I actually love when people say it's expensive.
That jacket is wavy.
But that fabric there, that's Italian jacquard fabric. I'm not going to say the price of that fabric.
This is what I didn't know, okay.
But that's what I mean. That's why. And you're asking to justify the price. It's because you got to think about all the things that go into it.
Yeah.
If that fabric there is certain price, which is very, very expensive.
Oh, no, I thought there were more pictures of the jacket, innit? I'm thinking
this guy's all good.
No, I'm bare trying to get on the thing, innit?
Brenda, give my phone,
and I'm thinking...
Nah, joking, Karen.
But yeah, if that jacket there, let's say the fabric is said price, you've got to buy a couple of meters of this fabric now, like, and obviously, I make a lot of the stuff myself, but I also have tailors. So I now have to pay my tailors to make this product. This is London. Like, London prices for tailors.
Mad.
It's not cheap. You see
Anything
what I'm saying?
in London is not cheap.
I'm just trying to picture it.
Do you see what I'm saying? So let's say now we've got the fabric and then you've got the tailors. But before all of this, you need to make a pattern. So a pattern is basically the template of the product, of the garment. So you have to pay someone to make this template now.
Yeah.
Then you got to get the fabric, which obviously you have to go and source it. So that's also transport back and forth. You got to obviously wear test and make sure that this thing is substantial and going to hold up.
So the price is building up slowly.
Yeah. It's built from this. Like, it's already, that's already.
So it's not no mess out.
Yeah, that's already a couple hundred, let's say. That's already a couple hundred there. Right. So if people are thinking, why can't I have that jacket for £50? The fabric's not even £50.
Like that. Yeah.
1 meter of this fabric doesn't even cost £50.
Your things are all handcrafted as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. So it's not a factory thing. I hear that.
And obviously, sometimes a zip might even cost £50.
A
zip might cost £25-50. You see what I'm saying? Like, so it's kind of like.
So like I said, I can't, before, like, I had someone saying about the jacket being expensive, like a proper puffer jacket.
Yeah.
It was like, how much you sell it for roughly?
It depends. It depends on the piece.
They're like, okay, let's just say 400 for example.
From about 400, 500.
Yeah, but I'm saying to myself now,
they can be a lot.
When you think about it, if you look at Moncler, for example, it's like £800. That's the cheapest jacket you can buy from Moncler, isn't it?
This is it.
So I'm thinking to myself, it's not expensive when you think about it, because the other jackets that are high quality, they cost 800 plus minimum.
And you got to remember, like, if it's a bespoke piece, obviously the prices are higher than obviously 500.
You're not making it,
and what you got to remember, like, let's say Moncler make this jacket, they're doing one template for that jacket
and
mass producing this item. So if we're spending all this time on one piece to get your size, we're doing all the work that we could produce 100, but we're only producing one. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's kind of like.
It's mad that because I would have never knew any of that without having this conversation. But I think most people's knowledge on fashion comes from celebrities and what they wear, innit?
So if a celebrity is not wearing it, people think.
Yeah. So you're telling me a zip costs £50? Like, that's
this is it. That's what I mean. A lot of people, not every zip, but there's definitely zips there, and that's not even one of the most expensive ones.
That specific jacket was that one of one?
That one, I have done one of one, but it's not like a bespoke piece, so I can reproduce that. So when you're ready,
but we're chatting about 2 days ago, bro. I was like, yo, that's proper, bro. I said, right, that's proper.
So you see, with some of your clothes, like, do you mass produce other things, or is it just
a
limited amount of things?
I tend to do a limited amount, but like, I'm not writing it off. Like, eventually, like, I'm gonna start definitely mass producing.
When you get to a certain level,
mass producing, like, it just depends on what it is, because at the moment, like I said to you guys earlier, like, I really like the whole bespoke element, because like, for me as a creative, I love to create new stuff. And also, I'll tell you how I kind of got into doing bespoke pieces. It's kind of like comes back to the whole velvet part from back in the day, because it kind of like when I used to source fabrics, let's say you wanted a burgundy velour set, let's say I done that now. And then let's say a Bremer now wants one. I'll go back to the shop or the place to buy fabric, and they no longer have it. And I'm like, but I need it. And the amount of times I've been like in a manufacturer or a fabric shop or something, and they're like, sorry, we don't have it anymore. It's gone. And I really used to seriously work me up, because I'm like, but I need to get this fabric. Do you see what I'm saying? And sometimes they're really, really exclusive ones. Like, so... I would never be able to get it back again. So that's kind of how I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll just make one then.
Yeah.
And then that's how we kind of, and one is also very exclusive, like
of course, and high value as well.
You're the only person on the planet that's gonna have that.
Exactly.
It will last longer as well, because if no one else has got it, then it's not going out of date. If that makes sense.
This is the thing, because obviously, like not too long ago, big up Semtex. Semtex reached out and wanted a bespoke piece. DJ Semtex. He reached out and wanted a bespoke piece.
Okay.
So obviously, when we was doing his consultation, he was saying the same thing. He's like, I want something that not everyone's got. Like obviously, high fashion, people like quality stuff, but he's like, I want something that is not so attainable. You're not going to see everyone wearing it. Yeah. And like he, for Semtex as well, I'll big him up because he's got really good energy as well. Like the vibe, like really interested in the whole fashion thing. And it's really good people.
So it's like a whole experience then as well.
It's the whole experience. Yeah, okay. This is it. Because obviously when you're going there, you're showing different fabrics. You can choose how you want it. Oh, for Osh, Osh, this one's really
Oh yeah, you got it for Osh as well. You working, man, out here working.
Yeah, man.
Which one are you looking at?
Oh,
the one she made the other day.
That's on it.
Oh, okay, yeah, that one. Did you see the one she made the other day for my man?
Racks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see Racks on. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, back to your first question. So we kind of went on a tangent.
Sorry, this is how it goes.
This is how it goes.
It's cool.
It's all over the place.
But it's kind of like how I got the inspiration for that spacesuit. Yeah. So obviously I was in class now and my tutor's like, 50 designs in like an hour or something. We would have to fill sketchbooks in a week. Bearing in mind sketchbook pages have hundreds of pages. Like it's not a
whole
joke.
Sketchbook in a week.
But it teaches you discipline. You see what I'm saying? So now if I need to be mashing in work ASAP,
go mash in work.
I'm doing that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that.
So obviously he's walking around now.
Yeah.
And these times I don't know what I was doing, but I didn't really have nothing to show. And obviously you can't just show like a basic top or a basic jacket. You gotta be doing something. So I remember I just got my sketchbook, was just like doing a madness, like doing like I think I've done about 5 designs in like 2 minutes. And then I was just like, here you go.
Yeah.
Just seeing what he said. He's like, I love it. I really love it. You need to make that, because obviously we was doing our final collections. Because when I was going there, like when I was studying there, I was doing it in like a final year. Yeah. So I was in like the equivalent to a final year class. Yeah. He's like, you need to make that for collection. Yeah. And I was like, oh really? But obviously these are the days I'm quite new. I'm like, how on earth am I going to make this? I've never seen this in my life. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously usually you'd have the puffer jacket or you'd have bottoms. But
not together.
To have the whole thing, I was like, how are we going to do this? But yeah, man, managed to do it. And that's basically how it come about. I wouldn't say it was an accident, but it's kind of like you've got to open up your creative mind and just really get to it. But this is the thing with fashion, you can't be too precious. So like, if you see some of my sketchbooks, you'll probably be thinking, what on earth are you doing in this? Do you know what I mean? But like, you gotta just, I could take inspiration from anything. Like I could look at those lines there or that fan and be like, okay, cool. That can be panels to a jacket. That can be the zip. That can be something else. We could use like white and black there, and then we could have that, you see that black line in between the fan. I could be like, okay, that could be piping, that could be black piping. You know what I'm saying? The blue like digital light, that could be.
I can hear your brain ticking now, bro. It's mad.
It's actually like, mad. That's how you've got to. That's how you got to be.
Yeah,
that's how you got to be. Yeah. But it's a fun process. But
so back to the whole fashion week side of things.
I
asked you this anyway, but to explain to everyone else and get a better idea of it. I always thought fashion week was like a one time a year or kind of thing, but I hear it like so much.
Yeah,
London fashion.
Yeah, fashion.
I thought, right, how many fashion weeks are there in a year then, or what's going on?
So like the 4 main countries for fashion week is New York, London, Milan, and Paris.
In that order as well.
Yeah, in that order. Yeah. Like that's how they run. So you'd have New York Fashion Week as first, then it comes over to London. So if you got the Skrilla, you could be jumping to each of them. Like you could go from New York to London to Paris.
Like normal people can come watch this, like, or was it?
Is it like an exclusive kind of thing?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
It's not.
I see one recently, and like they had rain indoors, and I was like, this is just mad.
Fashion shows can be really, really
entertaining. Good on. I see Twitter.
They're really entertaining. But yeah, so in terms of the seasons, like before, it used to just be autumn, winter, and spring, summer.
Okay.
And obviously, you always do it. You always do it ahead.
Yeah.
So, like for example, in like the September coming up, it would essentially be you'd be presenting spring, summer 21.
That's far ahead, isn't it?
6 months.
September. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
you
can't
pretend like they know their seasons in it. Man, don't even know what spring is.
No,
but
May
from July to
March, April, May, spring, and then July, August, summer.
Yeah, so you kind of just like present like ahead of the game because you got to think like this is how the seasons do work in fashion. Like if you're presenting autumn, winter in September. How are people going to have time to produce? Because you got to remember, like, these are, a lot of the time, sometimes it's just the samples. Yeah. And the reason why fashion shows are really about is for buyers. That's why it's not for Tom, Dick and Harry, because they want buyers and press sat on these front rows.
What do you mean buyers? Like people to buy it there and then?
So, no, when I say a buyer, buyers
stores,
like...
fashion. Okay, cool.
So, like, you'll have the buyers of John Lewis, Selfridges, all of these places.
Okay.
That's what a fashion show is for. It's for these guys to see. Ooh, I like that. We're buying into this one. We're buying into that one.
Is that why they normally get the celebrities as well, just for the publicity and things like that?
Yeah, because also like you also want PR there. So when you see the runway, you can kind of build up anticipation. So then when it hits the stores 6 months later,
ready to go, or
just after, people are like, yeah, I'm ready for that. But these days, the reason why fashion weeks are not really working so well anymore is because everyone wants stuff tomorrow now.
Okay,
people ain't
fashion
trying
weeks
to
got quick nowadays, don't it?
No one's trying to wait for nothing. If I'm ordering this today, I want it tomorrow. If I see that on the runway today, I'm having that. I want that today.
No one wants to wait.
Amazon same day delivery. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the issue we kind of have. Like as a luxury brand, we like quality. So we like at the end of the day, these kinds of things you can't produce in a day. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They say Rome wasn't built in a day. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to really take your time and appreciate the craftsmanship. But obviously where all these fast fashion brands have now come in, a lot of people don't really value quality goods anymore. And that's why, like you said before, people are like, well, I can get something for £10 from Zara, £20 out, so why am I paying your price? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
However, these are fast fashion brands. It's a different kind of situation. Do you see what I'm saying? And obviously part of the reason why I'm not really a big fan of fast fashion is because like a lot of materials and a lot of clothes go to wastage. So when I obviously part of uni, we'd have to write essays and that, they would show us videos of all these huge wastage places in the world with just tons of clothes piled up, and then they just get mashed up. And
why don't you just give them away? I don't understand that. Like, you got so much clothes, you're not doing nothing with them. Just give them. There's plenty of kids out there in the world.
Yeah, just all goes into landfill. Just goes into landfill.
That's the politics side of it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And that's it. And I guess it's kind of like one of them ones that they feel like if we give it away, people aren't going to buy from them. Do you know what I mean? It's sad. It is sad.
I hear what you're saying.
But if you see like, let's say, you're seeing a lot of people with it's not right, but if you see a lot of people with, let's say, I don't know, Zara or something, people are gonna be like, oh well, I can just wait until they're getting rid. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of why they're like, you know what? But it's a sad sad game. That's why I'm not really a big fan of the whole fast fashion, and also how these things are made in certain places. It's not always very ethical. And it's quite heartbreaking when you really sit and think and hear like the young kids and all of that making
involved in
I'm not saying
like
all, but a lot of brands don't really do sweatshops anymore because obviously
the pressure's on.
Yeah, the pressure's on. People aren't silly anymore. Do you know what I mean? Before, people didn't really care, but now everyone wants to know how these things are getting made.
Because even in my uni thing, I was doing a thing on CSR, and like when you do the research on that, that's crazy, man.
We had one Apple, bruv. Like, I think they charge things like 60p to make remember the iPod Nano? 60p to make it. That was including labour costs. So how much it's actually going to cost the person to actually make it? 60p.
I see Reese put Balenciaga. You see that? It's mad, isn't it? So the jumper costs £4.80 or something to make it. How much?
I don't know if he should be disclosing that, but I don't know. Like,
I hear that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
That's
but,
him.
But yeah.
Wait, what?
No, but he's in the industry, so if he said it, then obviously I'm comfortable.
Obviously, it must be true, but obviously, like I said, I don't
actually
know.
Completely.
I can't vouch for any of those things.
Obviously,
what I'm saying is that like a lot of sweatshops are not cool, but like I said, a lot of brands aren't using sweatshops anymore. Yeah. So we're moving into a good place and that's the thing about things like fashion. Like it's the people that decide. It's like the music industry as well. Like it's everyone, everyday people that are saying you're hot or you're not hot. You see what I'm saying?
I feel like hip hop culture plays a big part in the whole fashion industry.
100%.
Like the biggest part, I think, in a lot of things, in fact.
It definitely does. Like hip hop culture is big. But yeah, so Fashion Week now. So yeah, it happens 4 times a week, 4 times a year.
So what do you mean when you say 4 times a year? Do you mean London, Paris, well, the order?
Yeah.
That once and then okay, cool.
But then sometimes not all brands do the pre's. Okay. So obviously, not all brands do pre-summer or pre-spring and all of that. So it's that kind of part. It's optional. Yeah. But like, if you want buyers to come through, but
makes
how
sense.
I got into the whole fashion.
You went Fashion Week yourself,
How did you get your thing on there? Like I saw you. Was it New York?
New York, yeah. She went all of them, I saw.
Nah, not all of them.
Just New York. Okay,
New York and London.
That's big, isn't it? Still big.
Yeah. Definitely big. So where do I start? Okay, so obviously when I come back from Milan, moved back to England, I was kind of like, this is going to lead on to something different now.
If you want to go west, go west.
So when I moved back from England, obviously part of my degree, you also were supposed to find an internship. Obviously, for me, I wasn't really passionate about finding an internship because I knew, like I said, I just wanted to study abroad. But obviously you had to. So I come back, I didn't find one. And I remember I think I was just, I don't know how I ended up. I was just in Shoreditch because obviously I was living in London. So I was just in Shoreditch. So I was just walking around and I just felt low in it because obviously I had nothing to do. And I was just like, for me, I always like to be, I always want something to do. So I was just like, what am I even doing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why I may as well just go back to Milan or whatever, something. So, and then I remember I was just at home one day and I get an email and it says, "Hi, Charisse, this is blah, blah from Tom Ford. We wanted to know if you'd still be interested in doing an internship."
Big up.
And I was like, it has to be spam, innit? It has to be spam. I was Tom Ford reaching out to me. But obviously, keeping it 100, I couldn't even remember applying. That's why I thought, But obviously, I replied straight away. I was like, yeah, definitely up for it. She's like, can you come for an interview tomorrow? Okay.
Where did you have to go for that?
London, was it?
London, yeah. Okay, so it's in central London. Oh my gosh, this place is goals. When I say, you see, wait on it, you see Trimingham,
Get in there.
Yeah, man, this place. Oh my gosh, his studio and showroom. From time, these doors are so heavy, you can't even you really got
now we're talking.
You really got to push, and then you go in, and he's got his name on the wall, and it's levels. So obviously, I had the interview.
Google it. No,
I don't know if you'll find it because I don't know if people have really been in there. Yeah. But yeah. So obviously, I had the interview, and she was kind of saying to me, "This is cutthroat. This ain't no joke. Do you know what I mean? Are you up for it? It's gonna be this, and this." Don't say yes if you can't commit. Do you know what I mean? But obviously, I was like, can do that. Do you know what I mean? I don't really fear many things.
That's good.
In terms of things like that as well, because where I know I have my own brand, it's something to fall back on anyway. So it's one of them ones that obviously I had to do it for school, but I didn't really need to do the internship. You see what I'm saying? But I was doing it because I was like, this is a sick brand. Great thing to have on the CV, and obviously she, like you, she said your CV's big still. She's like, you have for your age, you have done all of this. So, and that's before I even done Fashion Week. So she's like, you've done all of this, that's levels. Okay, cool. So she's like, can you start tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, because I remember listening to a motivational speaker one time, and they was like, just say yes and figure your stuff out afterwards. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes when the opportunity arises, say yes, and then sort it out later. Just sort out the stuff later. So bearing in mind, I didn't really have much to do at that point anyway. Obviously I said so obviously I think I said yes, but I can only do a month or something because like I said, I'm not really, because obviously internships usually 6 months or a year, but I'm not a big fan of committing to things for too long. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't want to be promising you 6 months and I'm after a month, I'm
falling off a bit.
I'm ready to chip out. Yeah. So, but I done the month and I absolutely love that company. Yeah. If I wasn't doing Trimingham, I'd be at Tom Ford.
Okay.
100. Love that place. They've got a really because obviously when you think high fashion, you think, no offense, but you probably think everyone's a bit
stuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it not possible to still be at like a brand and do your own brand as well?
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
possible.
Like Virgil, for example, he's at Louis Vuitton, isn't he?
Yeah. It's possible. And like I said, I'm not gonna knock. I wouldn't say like I wouldn't, but at the moment,
you're trying to work on your thing.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm good, but like I wouldn't knock it.
Yeah.
You might see me at Tom Ford, you might see me at Dior, who knows? I'm joking, but yeah. So the team were like amazing. I was like, is this what high fashion's like?
Yeah.
Obviously, but you got to give accolades to Mr. Ford because we call him Mr. Ford. You can't say Tom. You can't say
Tommy
Tom
and
Ford.
Thomas.
You was actually seeing him like.
No, like, and this is the annoying thing. Like, he was there. Like, I left on the Friday. He was there on the Monday because I was only there for a month, so that's low key my fault. Do you know what I mean? If I was there for the 6 months, I would have been seeing him. But that's kind of nervous as well because obviously,
that's like, a big guy. That's a big.
That's a top dog. Like, and these people have like a proper presence, and you're referring to this person as Mr. Ford. He wants something yesterday. So if he's like, get me a pen. Why is his pen already in his hand?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh yeah, says Trimingham CEO, bang bang, whatever. It's like, you better have that thing.
And that's an industry you love as well. Like for me, I might be thinking like that's Tom Ford, and like not a big deal for me like that.
Yeah,
but for you, that's in that side of things.
That's the bee's knees, Mr. Ford, man. Yeah. But like I said, accolades to him because he's got a really great team. Like everyone there, like I know full well I could go there like today and they'd still be like, Sharice, like how are you? Sort of thing. Yeah. Like really, really good people. So yeah, so obviously I started it, but like I was basically I was studio and showroom assistant. Yeah. So I was working with the studio and showroom manager. And obviously, remember when she was like, you have to do this, this and this. Yeah. So I'm thinking, boy, what have I got myself in for? What kind of madness is this going to be? But when I was there, I was like, oh, this is calm. Yeah, we can get over this. It's not too bad. Yeah. The work was pretty good. But I think, obviously, sometimes you got to tell people something to make sure that they're ready for the worst case scenario.
Of course.
So we done that, and yeah, she was like I said, they're really cool. And then it got to one point that they was obviously Mr. Ford, Tom Ford does New York Fashion Week.
Yeah, of course.
But obviously not everyone on the team can go. But my manager really wanted to go in it. But obviously where she always has to be like at the place, at the studio showroom to run the place. But this is why it's a bit mad because it's like, where I was doing so well, she trusted me to run it. Yeah. I had to run...
Tom Ford?
Yeah. I had to run the studio and showroom on my own.
New York Fashion Week?
Not New York Fashion Week. This is in London. Oh, so she went to the show and left me there to do that. It wasn't for a long time. Still, it's
a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, man. So... like I was in there running, I was like, ah. And obviously it's nice because like in the morning I had the keys, you open up, set the alarms, unlock, all of that. So it was really big time, and to even be put in that position, big respect to them, innit? Because that's trust. You know what I mean? That's mad. That's a lot of trust to give someone such an opportunity and a position like that. But yeah, so obviously I knew I was going to New York like a week after. Yeah. But his show, let's say his show is on the Wednesday. Actually, I think I was going to New York on the Friday. They was like, "Damn, Sharice, like if you had your flight booked 2 days before, you could have come to the show." And I was like, "Oh, don't say that." Do you know what I mean? Like, not trying to hear that right now. Yeah. So, but obviously, my sister was like to me, "Sharice, because obviously." I went to New York the year before just to watch Fashion Week to like try and get in. So New York might be a bit easier than obviously Milan and Paris to watch shows if you find them or if you got a good contact that can get you into shows. Yeah. So I went there to watch and I was like, wow, this scene over here is sick. Like, I watched a show and the guy, like I was at the end, I was like, hi, I'm a designer from London. He's like, oh, so you're going to be showcasing here next year? I said, huh? I said, nah. I was like, nah, I've never done a fashion show before. Like, he's like, oh, well, here's my details. Take the details.
Oh, just like that?
And I was like, okay. I was like, okay, cool. But I'm not going to lie, me being a bit careless or whatever, I lost his contact. And I was like, I couldn't find it anywhere. Yeah. But my sister was like, Sharice, you're going to New York. This was like the week before. She's like, you're going to New York next week. You're supposed to be going for Fashion Week. Have you found a show? Like, if you've lost this man's details, have you found another one? I was like, no. She was like, get your ass in gear, like, find the show, innit? So I think do you know what it was? It was the Wednesday, yeah? So maybe the day of Mr. Ford's show or whatever. I was probably inspired by that as well. So I started emailing. I was just emailing. I'm a designer from London, would love to showcase. Designer from London, love to showcase, whatever. And then I get an email from one company, and they was like, bring your stuff in the show.
Just like that. Just like that.
I said, because in the email I said, I'm coming to New York tomorrow. Do you see what I'm saying? So it was last minute. It was mad last minute. I said, I'm coming to New York tomorrow. I said, bring your collection in the show. And I was like, this is real. Do you know what I'm saying? So obviously I took the stuff anyway. And then obviously as soon as I land in New York, obviously it's the night, so we have to go. So obviously my family live in New York, innit? So I'm kind of patterning that. Okay. So I went with one of my cousins, and the show was like allegedly in Times Square, innit? So I was like, okay, cool. You're coming with me. You see what I'm saying? So we went to the casting, and I was like, oh wow, it actually is happening. This is actually a show. But the only issue I had was all the models are female. I've got a menswear brand.
Oh shit.
So I was like, where are the male models? You know what I'm saying? So it was quite wild because...
She just went to the hood, grabbed any hood nigga.
This is it. But so they was like, don't worry, when you get to the actual show, there'll be male models.
Okay, cool.
That's quite risky still.
Oh yeah, because size and...
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was like, if we're not doing a fitting before, I was like, I knew it was too good to be true, so whatever. So then I went to the venue for the new one, and it was in Times Square. It was mad central.
Good venue.
Yeah, lovely place. Like, but I got there, and I said, kid you not, I see a group of man them outside. I was like, you lot, do you want a model for me? I swear that's how it happened. It was like, yeah, of course.
That's it, man.
Show us what we're
random guys. Wear.
Yeah. No, there was a group in front, but obviously I think they were actually a group of models. Like, I think they've done modelling before. They weren't like just
random
some of the man. Yeah.
Said
But I reckon you lot could still pull it off.
Yeah, I'll pull it off, bruv.
Yeah, definitely.
Catwalk, fam. Made for it, bro.
That's mad that you just carved out them opportunities yourself.
Yeah,
a lot of people just sit there and wait for opportunities.
It's a shoot your shot situation. This is not something. I wasn't like silver spoon, like Tash said, grew up in J-Town, man. This ain't nothing.
Message of the day.
Yeah, but J-Town's not the hood like that, you know. Hey, J-Town's not that bad.
You don't need to know, bro.
J-Town's not that bad.
It's not that bad compared to where they come from. They come from the gutter.
Don't you dare.
Don't you come from the gutter, bro.
I said the gutter, bro. I'll climb over this table, bro.
We won't mention use lots of area on the pod,
but that's mad though, man.
Yeah, it's a level of shoot your shot. I kid you not. Like, I think it's one of them ones. Like, I feel like I love the fast pace. I love the whole living on the edge kind of. Adrenaline kind of rush. You see what I'm saying? Some people would have been like, fashion show tomorrow. I don't think so. You know what I mean? It's too risky, too last minute. But for me, I thrive off that stuff. I love
creative mindset.
I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do it. Because I think for me, I like the uncertainty. Not with everything, don't get me wrong, but I do like uncertain situations. I like to be like, how's this gonna pan out if I do that? If I jump, do you see what I'm saying? That's why I really need to go skydiving as well. I really want to
stamp out your comfort zone.
But
I really want to. But yeah, so I met these guys outside like 30 minutes before the show. They tried it on. They're lit. Like, that's my phone case now.
Are they still there?
Yeah. So that was like the first show.
That's mad though, man. That's mad.
Yeah,
I can't lie to you. We didn't get to ask. I had some more questions, but time's kind of taken off. But
what you got?
Bro,
just fling one in, innit?
The thing is, I know if we get started now, it's gonna you get me.
I can give you a couple quick answers.
What
were they though?
Alright, cool. So obviously Fashion Week done, whatever, rest of that's all done. Yeah. So where do you see like your brand going the next? It's probably a hard question anyway. It's not one of them interview questions, isn't it? In the next 5 years, do you look into your own shop or?
Yeah. Okay, cool. But the whole thing about the whole bricks and mortars kind of thing, it's a bit like.
You looking to stay more online?
Yeah, because kind of bricks and mortar stores, look at COVID.
Yeah, that's where it's
you know what I'm saying?
So you could just keep online, innit?
Yeah, 100%. Online is the way forward. If you're starting a brand or anything, online, you don't need to worry about a store because online does numbers. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You could rent out a warehouse and get that popping because if something like COVID was to happen again for a longer time, your stuff is collecting dust in a store. Do you know what I mean?
I think Primark had that exact problem because they ain't got online.
They got a lot of stock.
So that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's it. But obviously, where Primark's such a big company, they kind of like
they can fall back on that.
They got their patterns.
For sure.
But like little brands, like let's say I open a store this year,
And COVID happened. That's
what
long.
I'm saying. You still got to pay those bills.
The rent still got to be paid every month.
Are you in contact with like other designers from Reading and stuff like quite a lot in terms of like, for example, you and Reese, do you talk much?
I really like Reese. Reese is really good people. We talk. Yeah, we definitely talk.
And also, so your inspirations, like, I remember you saying one time, Dapper Dan was one of your inspirations, right?
Dapper Dan.
His interview was good, innit? Interview was good, innit? I like his interview still.
Yeah, Dapper Dan.
That the brother that used to make Gucci back in the day.
Yeah, no, he's but fake, not fake, but
he wasn't fake.
He used to get Gucci and Louis fabrics and that, and then recreate.
Make his own thing. Yeah.
But if you look now,
all designs are his things, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see the whole LV when you see the bag or GGG, that's all him, bro. Like,
is that him?
Yeah, no, he started that kind of thing.
Like they used to have their stuff, but they used to make things more for a high end market. But he's making high fashion for the hood. Yeah. So he,
but still,
I think there was a lot of
it's still high end hood dons.
Yeah, still high end.
It's still high end hood dons like drug dealers and all.
Only elite people can afford it, kind of thing. But yeah, Dapper Dan, he is the goat of goats.
I like it. His story is good. You lot should watch that, man. Breakfast Club.
No, I think I've seen his breakfast fight.
Yeah, it's good.
That's how I found out. I think they're like celebrities. Like I think the black ones from New York, from like Harlem, innit?
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
I swear he's from Harlem, innit?
Yeah. He's a guy. He's the guy, man.
Yeah. Who else would you say inspired you within that? Kind of, are you inspired by people like Yeezy?
I would say musicians.
Oh, musicians more time.
Yeah, musicians. Like because like it's like you see one of my top inspirations is Gunna, man. If you see how Gunna.
Oh, if he's a Gunna man, I was thinking, who's that?
Oh no,
Gunna, Gunna man.
Yeah, if you see like how Gunna dresses, he doesn't dress the same so much as everyone else. Like, he color coordinates his stuff, and I think maybe because like back in the day when I was growing up, I used to color coordinate my stuff. I used to wear the red skinny jeans, the red pumps, shoelaces in your hair. You know all that. You know all that wild stuff from back in the day. But like, so but he's obviously drippy with it. Like he color coordinates all his stuff, and like some of the times I make something, I'll be like, this one's for you. Do you know what I mean? Like I could see you wearing it, so I might be inspired by. Like for example, I think he was wearing a purple outfit one time, and. Last season when I done New York Fashion Week, I made a tracksuit called Purple Rain.
Okay.
And that was inspired by him. But obviously, like I said, a lot of the things are good, but obviously sometimes you have losses as well. I'm not gonna make out as if it's all sunshine and rain. Obviously,
just
I've shared with you guys all the great bits, but sometimes like for example, my collection last year when I was doing New York Fashion Week got sucked. The whole collection gone. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like. Obviously, like it kind of was my fault, but it wasn't. It's not my fault that it got stolen.
What do you mean? Oh, it was stolen.
Yeah, it got stolen
by other fashion designers.
No.
Who was it by?
Like
it was stolen, like taken.
Yeah, the collection was stolen.
The J-Time man, them, bro.
No.
This is in New York. We wouldn't get that far, boy.
No, Harlem Brothers. Like obviously, like I had, like it was me being a bit careless, but obviously I had the collection in my car, innit? And then I come back to my car and
smashed anything.
No, like
you didn't know the car, did you?
You know what?
Do you know what?
To take name for that one and keep moving, isn't it?
That's what I mean. But it's kind of like, obviously, I just had to take the L. But obviously, that was the whole collection. That was my uni work, everything gone. Days, but like, I did lock the car. Yes, I did lock the car. Cool. I did lock the car. But yeah. I think
there's more to it, but maybe off camera, son.
So the flavour for insurance, brother.
No, not even.
Off camera.
I didn't claim insurance on that. Like I said, like just have to take the L and keep it moving because the last thing, the way I close that off is obviously that jumpsuit that was in that collection. Obviously, where that got taken. That's why I made the reflective one. And do you see where we're going with this now? Everything happens for a reason. I would have never made that reflective jumpsuit if I had that. Therefore, Popcaan would have never worn it. So on that note, we move. And that's why you just got to trust the universe. Everything happens for a reason.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, man, to have you on there, of course.
Someone like me who don't have a clue about the fashion industry, bruv. The insights you've given me and the fact that you've shown that it's not just mashing stuff together and there you go, here's the stuff. There's years of experience, graft, and even tears involved in it as well, which is mad, man.
Yeah, honestly.
That's mad. It's been insightful.
Before man say the things are all expensive, like Tashi would say, bruv.
Trimingham to the world.
And
follow us on Insta.
Oh yeah, Snap. Socials.
Whitley man.
Socials. What?
Socials. Trimingham, so Trimingham on Instagram, and then the website is called www.trimingham.store, and you can contact us.
All right, cool. Like I said, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you guys.
We'll have you on again one time,
me.
maybe, because we didn't get to ask everything.
Yeah,
maybe in the future or something.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks.
It was good. Thank you
Wow.
guys.
Yeah, no.